Very good day, everybody. My name's Callum from DX Commander. So I want to run through the international standards that we use for very large and very small numbers. This is ideally suitable for candidates for the foundation license, doing amateur radio exam, or any other student or people just interested in understanding the international system of units. If I can find my mouse. And I found this page here, International System of Units, and that's the link there, and it's got an interesting history. But there we are. Let's start just by understanding meters. So meters, there's an international standard for meters, and there it is there. It says it, international standard, it's a length, and it's you write it with a small letter M. So 1 meter. 1 meter. Now 1 meter can be split into 1,000 millimeters. So we'll put it there. 1 millimeters. That can be split down by 1,000, you see. And what happens if we multiply our 1 meter by 1,000? We end up with 1 kilometer. 1 small k, small m. So these are ones. 1,000 millimeter is 1 meter, and 1,000 meters, right? 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. Therefore, if we multiply 1,000 by 1,000, we end up with 1 million. So there's 1 million millimeters in a kilometer. So there we are. Milli is what I want to concentrate on, and kilo, what I want to concentrate on. So let me introduce you to volts, amps and resistance. I'm not going to tell you much about it other than the fact that current is amps, and the international SI unit is I, right, a capital I. Mr. Volts, we use V, and resistance, whatever, is ohm. And ohm, we use that sign there. There's a little relationship between all three, and we're going to do the relationship on the next video when we come to Ohm's law. But effectively, volts is the amount of pressure in the circuit. The amps is the amount of current and how much is physically going through, and that's restricted by resistance. Well, that's just a nice little easy way of looking at it. Right, let's just take volts and only volts for a minute. And let's understand the SI unit. So we've got 1 volt here. 1 volt. So, remember the millimeters we did a minute ago? 1,000th of a volt is 1 millivolt, right? There's 1,000 of those in a volt. So if something is 1/10 of a volt, we would say 100 millivolts. Easy, isn't it? Milli is written, by the way, M-I-L-L-I. That's how it's written. You could have a circuit that has less than 1 millivolt. It might be a microvolt. Okay, so 1, and that's a Greek U, microvolt. 1 microvolt is 1 million volts, and is 1,000th of a millivolt, and that's micro, and that's written like that, micro, with the Greek U, okay, small m. What happens if we have 1,000 volts? We end up with 1 kilovolt. And that's a small k. We write it with a small k, and it says it over here. The standard is k, and it's a factor of 1,000, it says here. If we have 1,000 of them, we'll end up with 1 megavolt, capital M now, not to confuse ourselves with millivolt, okay? And there's a hell of a difference between 1 millivolt and 1 megavolt, because that would be 1 million volts, and there's 1,000 volts. You can have a factor of 1,000 again. Very rarely would you see 1 gigavolt, okay? And that's another 1,000. All the way up here goes a factor of 1,000. So Easy peasy. Hopefully you understood that now. Microvolt, millivolt, there's the volt. Kilovolt, megavolt, gigavolt. That could be micro-ohms, milliohms. It could be more likely in amps, and in circuits you're going to see a milliamp, 250 milliamps. Well, here's a test for you. If 1,000 milliamps are in 1 amp, what's 250 milliamps? That's a quarter of an amp. And you can use any of the international system of units and transpose micro, milli, kilo, mega and giga over the top of it. Right, next up is Ohm's law, and I've got the funniest, happiest, easiest method of explaining that, and that's coming up on the next video. So this video probably won't get many views because not many people are looking up the international standard units, okay? So to reward me, maybe give me a comment. Say if you enjoyed the presentation. Maybe take the thumbs up thing. Maybe. That's fair trade, isn't it? All right. So I'll see you on the next one. All the best now from Callum here in the bunker. Bye for now.